So we're going to get centered. And so in this moment, just find yourself really comfortable. So you're at home, you have everything at your access as far as comfort goes, a pillow, a rolled up towel, anything that you might need. And I'm going to start some music for us. So as we settle in and we just start to sink our body into the floor, into the mat, or whatever kind of cushion we're using, then we're going to turn toward the breath. We're going to breathe all the way in and all the way out. And whatever wiggles, squiggles, shakes, or shimmies that we need, we'll just give ourselves that. We want to honor everything that the body is suggesting to us. So if the body is suggesting a yawn, then we yawn. Sorry, I can hardly ever resist that. And if the body says, I need to move my head side to side, and then we'll just start to sink into a place where we can feel like we're comfortable, we're centered and settled in, we're stable, and the body is not calling out any other little attentions. And speaking of calling out, I'm always drawn to that little segment where Stewie is saying, Mom, Mom, Mom. And our distractions are like that. So as we have a distraction, all it really wants is a little bit of attention. So if we can just attune to it for a moment. Hello, distraction. I see you. I'm doing something else right now. But when I'm done with this, I'll address you. So for now, I'm going to set you aside. I'm going to work on some breathing, some moving. I'm going to become stronger and more flexible. And then I'm going to spend some time being better able to deal with whatever those distractions are. As we breathe in and we breathe out, let's notice if there are places in the body that already feel tight. Sometimes we can wake up and already know right away what parts of us are going to need some attention. So let's notice those. And however it is that we're seated, crisscross, legs out front, lotus, whatever feels good and right. We're going to let our body just start to move a little bit side to side. If legs are out, we can leave them maybe wider as we move into this side to side movement. We'll start to let one hand come up, stretching the arm, the underarm, this side body. We're going to keep that going and just breathe in and out. Does the body want to move slow or more quickly? It doesn't matter. It's your body. From here, we're going to change this to a crossover. And as we cross over, we're going to reach as far over as we can. Reaching. And then if we have our legs crossed, we're going to uncross and put the other foot in front. Resettle. Notice how this feels. Does it feel better, worse, neutral? And then from here, we're going to take our arm and we're going to circle across the body, up and around, across the body, up and around. We're just breathing in and out. There's not anything special that's happening here, but we are lengthening. We want to think about being taller as we sit. We want to think about our arms being longer as they reach. And as we open up the side body, We want to give more space between the ribs. Just one more set, whatever that feels like to be finished. I think I have one more to be even. We'll bring our arms out to the side. We're going to open out, reach out from the heart. Really feel the arms lengthening and then dropping the shoulders. From here, we're going to tip the head side to side and remain as tall as possible. We'll bring the chin forward and back. Notice what we feel here. Open and close the hands. And then opening and closing the toes. Bringing everything in. We're starting to feel a little more alive. Shoulders are going to roll. I woke up with really tight shoulders, so I opted for some heat this morning. Move the shoulders front and back. And then we're going to circle the head. So we're going to take the crown of the head, the very top, and draw the largest circles that we can. We're moving slowly. Let's reverse that. And now from here, we're going to turn our chin and our nose together all the way over to one side and all the way over to the other side. We're going to do that 3 more times. We're going to breathe here, exhale, turn the chin, breathe in. Every time we're going to see if we can get a little more. Breathe in, exhale, look, a little more. Breathe in, exhale, look. One more time, this time let's add in the shoulders. Breathe in, exhale, let the shoulders go. Breathe in, exhale, let the shoulders go. Now we're going to use our hands on our legs and let ourselves get as far over to each side as we can. Exhaling into that twist. Nice. Let's bring one leg out and the other leg is going to cross over. And when we sit in crossover, if that didn't feel really awesome, then we'll just come back. Whatever feels good. Isn't that amazing that we can actually move into a practice that honors what feels good to us instead of comparing to what might feel good to someone else? Hands up. Let's breathe, reach, find your best twist this morning. Breathe it up and bring it down. Now we're going to open out, create a little bit of space here. And we'll bring this hand to the floor, or if you would like to use a block, we can put our hand on a block. We're going to roll onto that bottom hip and maintaining a straight line of this knee over the space where the ankle is. We can't be directly over the ankle because we're behind it. But we don't want to let the knee roll forward. Let's let it stay pressed back. And at the same time, think about bringing this top hip forward. You can notice a really nice stretch here, but also quite a bit of things are happening in the groin and the hip flexor. Let's pull the belly in and drop that back down. And then we'll move over to the other side. So we decide if we want this one to be crossed or not. We want to sit up really tall, lengthen, let the neck be tall as the shoulders are down. We're going to breathe and reach, open out. So we're using the hand on the leg to help us get into a better stretch. And we're using our hips to push ourselves taller. And we're lifting our heart, opening the throat, moving the nose and the chin. We'll bring that back around. Open. Just a little bit right here between the foot and the knee. We're going to be ready to lift the hip. We're going to maintain a stationary place for this knee. And let the back of the body and the muscles in through the top of the hip. Use that push to get that hip over, as if we're trying to stack both hips on top of each other. And then pull it back. And here we're just going to roll right into our all fours. So we're going to take our knees under our hips and our hands right under the shoulders. I'm going to find some music for us that sounds like a little bit of work, so we can start into some work. From here, we're just going to start a little bit of a flow forward and back. We're letting the fingers feel as if they're working into the mat, and let the hips come back. Breathing forward and exhaling back. Breathing forward and back. And then we'll start to go even more. All the way into almost a kneeling point there. And maybe almost a child's pose. And if we want to add a little more work, we can take our hands out more than shoulder distance and create a longer incline point. And then we can come back to an almost child's pose and really stretch the arms. We're going to let ourselves come back into a neutral spine and set up a more square base, checking the knees and the hands. We'll breathe up and exhale under. Moving that breath and moving the body. So just really letting the breath do the work. Now we want to make sure that the spine is truly articulating here. So as we breathe in and do this work, let's try to really feel the spine as it moves. So notice if we're moving any parts of our body all at one time. We would rather move just one little part at a time. We're going to bring that back into our neutral spine. So we have our head reaching away from our heart and our hips away from our heart as much as we can. And then we're going to start to move that side to side. Let the hips and the head move side to side as we keep our belly really strong and still maintain a neutral straight line between the belly, head, and hips. Let's come back to neutral. Let the head drop. We're going to bring our hands to a fist with our thumb pointing to the top of the mat. And we're going to lift up out of our shoulders as if we're bringing our heart through the back. And then we're going to drop that down. Lifting that whole space up again by pressing the fist into the floor. And then as we exhale, soften and let it drop through the shoulders. Now we're going to make a big circle like a Ferris wheel, moving forward with our heart and bring it back. Think of the heart and the chest as moving. And then we're going to reverse that. Drop it down, bring it up and back. All the way in. Beautiful. All right, let's take one arm through. So we're going to come down and rest the side of our head on the mat. Thread the needle here. We're using this front hand for support, as well as our feet and our legs. And we're going to reach all the way through. And if we can kind of grab the mat with our elbow, and then let the shoulder pull away. This can feel really nice through the back, through the shoulders, even down into the ribs. So notice where you're feeling that, and of course if there's pain, we back away from that. We'll come all the way up. And if we had a shoulder injury, we already know that we wouldn't go into something like that. We're going to practice it on the other side. We're going to bring this arm through. Grab the mat with the elbow, lengthen through the side ribs, stretch away with the shoulder. Come back in. And one more action that's similar. We're going to come back through, and instead of reaching onto the side, we're going to drop down into our child's pose and bring the heart toward the mat. We're going to pull our shoulders to be even with one another, and then stretch forward. And we'll just find the best place that works for the best stretch. We'll lift up from here and let the other arm slip under. So the whole body is really facing the mat now. And this can feel good in a lot of places because the child's pose is working for us as well. And come all the way back into our extended child's pose. We're going to work through back into our all fours and turn the toes under. We'll come back, lift the knees, rock the feet. Make the body move. Back and back. We're going to walk out, find our plank, and move the knees, move the feet, move the hips. Let the back crunch move it. Whatever feels like the body needs it this morning. And push back into our heels and then forward. And keep going a little bit more and a little bit more until we find out downward facing dog. Step into that with bent knees. We're going to bend all the way in. We're going to hop to the middle of the mat or all the way to the hands or somewhere between and bounce the body up. Bounce and up like that. Lovely. Very nice. So we should be feeling pretty good. I'm going to make an adjustment in our camera here. All right. Let's let the whole self move side to side. Let everything go in this moment. Let this be as big or as small as you would like for it to be. And then we're just going to let it come into a stopping place. Let's let our feet be pretty wide. We're going to take some sunflowers. I'm going to grab my glasses so I can see this playlist. From here, when we're standing in our really wide base, we want our toes and our knees to be facing out. And that when we take a bend, our knees are going to be over our ankles, over the top of the foot, more toward the middle toe versus the big toe or the pinky toe. We want to be right in the middle if we can. So we'll just take a few bounces and check that to be sure. We're going to open up, come around, scoop, lift, and down. And then the other side, bring it up and around, scoop, lift. That's going to be our flow. So let's get some good music on for that. Well, Amazon Prime is failing me once again. They already failed me once this week when they told me it was going to take 6 weeks to get in my rolled oats that I eat for breakfast every day. Oh, the toilet paper crisis. All right, moving on. Trying to bring in new music for us to to work with. So the breath is going to bring us up. And exhale down. Just breathing up and down as we get into the flow. Then I'll lead us through the press. So we're just opening the shoulders, opening the arms, practicing sunflowers. The breath is up. The exhale is down. We're going to move right into that flow. So once again, give ourselves just this little transition. Let the arms come into a stop place. We're going to breathe up. Exhale, round. Breathe up. Exhale, press down with power. Other side. Breathe it up. Exhale. Breathe up. Exhale, down. And change. We're up. Exhale. How long can we make the arms? How much space can we bring into the ribs and the side body? As we breathe up and come around, let's drop the hip. We don't want to lift the hip as we come in. We're going to breathe up, exhale, drop the hip, bring it up and down. Breathing up, exhale, round. Breathing up and down. Last time here, we're going to bring it around. We're going to take both hands up and then both hands all the way down to the floor. We can use a block here. We can use fists or flat hands. And then we're going to turn our heels to parallel. Drop the head and let the body move side to side. Dropping the hips a little bit more. We're going to bring the head up even with the hips, or what we feel like is even with the hips. And then we're going to bring our forearms into the thighs, hands back, holding this position. We're going to bring the hands back to the floor, turn the toes out, and lift the hips. Drop the head. Let the head bounce and move. With our right hand on the floor or on a mat, we're going to bring our left hand to the left hip. Bend that knee, that left knee. Open out to the side. Stacking the shoulders one on top of the other. Reaching that hand up. We'll reverse that, coming to the other side. Left hand is on the floor. Right hand is on the right hip. Let the knee come out over the toes. And we're going to pull the shoulder back. Open out. Stacking everything. We'll let our gaze come up toward that top hand. We'll fold everything back down. Bending the knees. Letting the forearms come in. Flatten the back. Hips and head in the same line. And we'll move the body side to side here. Let's bring our hands to our thighs. We're going to round the back, drop the head, roll the back, roll the shoulders. Lift everything to stand in this big wide stance. From here, we're going to reach up and make our star shape. So our 5-pointed star, we want to try to extend all 5 points as far as possible away from the heart. So let's think about the heart and where it is. And then from here, we're going to reach out with both feet, both hands, and the top of our head. And we're going to maintain this length. As we soften the knees, we breathe into this position. We're going to bring that right hand all the way out and over, softening the knees here, reaching toward the opposite foot. Breathing up. Taking the opposite hand. Exhale across the body. Breathing up. Exhale across. Every single time that we're coming back into this star shape, we're taking our biggest breath and our biggest movement. How far can we reach in every direction as we move through the starfish and around? We'll finish here breathing in. We'll drop that, bend the knees, start to walk our feet back together into our mountain pose. So we're starting to feel like we're moving. We're feeling the work, which is really good. We want to feel things. So many times we just numb. We want to move away from that. There may be times that we want to check out and relax the mind and maybe do some playful things where we're not having to think or give anything a serious nature. But we also want to avoid too much of that checking out, especially when it comes to our body and our mind. We want to stay focused into that, listening all the time to any little clues of things that we need to make changes about, or any parts that need attention. We have to stay focused on that. Let's move through our warrior flow that we've been doing. This is awfully fun. So let's take 1 foot front, 1 foot back. So front hip needs to pull back and back hip needs to pull forward. So notice how that feels. We're starting to get warm, but maybe we're not quite warm enough to be all the way square. That's okay. Be as square as you can. All right, we're going to breathe into our warrior one. And then on the exhale, we're going to sink into the pose. Coming out of that, we're going to breathe and open into warrior two. Making little adjustments, sinking into that. As we breathe and reach forward, we're going to power into a reverse warrior. We'll breathe around, exhale, forward. Breathing that top hand around, we come back into our warrior one. Exhale into the pose. Breathe and move. Exhale, sink down. Breathe and move. Exhale, stretch. Breathe and move. And exhale. Breathe and move. Back to warrior one. From here, we're going to lift the back heel. Rotate the legs. So now the knee is facing to the floor. Everything is squared up in our lunge. We're in a crescent as we bring our hands together. So if our hands were here, I'm going to fold them in, reach up, open out. So I'm going to move back a little bit, see if I can make that be seen. Look like I can. From here, we're going to practice a balance. So we're going to come in, hands at heart center, and we're going to bring our body across into a twist and connect the tricep, the back of the elbow, the outside of that knee. And then we can use that dynamic tension to help the body twist, bringing the thumbs right to the heart. We have the option to open this, fixing our gaze on a certain point so that we can find our balance, using our feet and our toes, and fold it back in, bring ourselves back into the lunge. Now our back foot is going to step forward, hands will drop down and around, and we'll find our mountain pose here. Stepping back into our other side for warrior one, we'll move through that flow. So we'll find that warrior one place. The front hip is pulling back, the back hip is really pressing forward, and we're going to bring our belly in to the sacrum is flat to the back wall. This is our breath. We'll exhale into the pose, and we'll breathe and move. Exhale, stretch. Breathe and move. Exhale, find that reverse one. And breathe. Exhale into our side angle pose. Maybe pressing this hand into the leg for some added work. Breathing around. Back to our warrior one. Exhale into the stretch. And breathe and move. And exhale, stretch. And breathe and move. Exhale, stretch. Breathe and move. Exhale. Reach. Breathe and move. Back to our warrior one. Exhale into the pose. Breathe and move. Warrior two. Exhale. Breathe and move. Exhale. Breathing all the way around. Exhale. Coming back into that warrior one. We're going to lift the back heel, rotate the leg, find that lunge. Bringing the hands together. We'll fold into our mudra. Open the shoulders, open the armpits, lift the heart, open the throat. The top of the body is reaching up. It's the hands that are reaching back and the gaze. We'll bring that back up, using our belly, using our back to come back into that position. And then we'll come and find that twist. Elbow reaches across the body. We'll find our balance. Open the arms if we choose to. Fixing our gaze. We'll come back now using the front foot to power the body back into position, stepping the back foot forward. Hands can come down and around. And back to mountain pose. Lovely. Very, very nice. We're going to do a little bit more warming up for our back. Before we get into our wild thing pose, let's practice our camel pose. So just in wherever you want to be for mountain, it doesn't matter really where you face on your mat, as long as you can see. If you want to take this back to yourself on the screen so you can see what you look like when you do this, that'd be awesome. But if you can just imagine it, that's fine too. We're going to use our fist into our lower back. And we're going to press into that as if we were leaning against a wall, but our hands are the wall. So we're leaning into our hands. And from the bottom rib all the way down the body, this is exactly how we're going to stay. We're not going to let our belly come forward and arch this part of our back. We're going to make it stay here, pressing into our hands. And then we're going to arc the top of the body as if there were a large beach ball or an exercise ball behind our shoulders. We're going to try to reach around the ball. Another way to think of this is that we're trying to go over the top of a fence. So we're going to lift our heart up, lift our throat up, and we're going to look up. Now we're going to look a little more back there, keeping ourselves pressed into our hands, and a little more back there, and a little more. And then we're going to look where we came from, and look back some more to where we came from, and look more, and look more. So what we did not do was this. We were controlled with everything that we did, going just a little bit at a time, and we were using our gaze to get us there. So it was our eye connection, whatever we were looking at. So we were looking over there, and then a little more over there, and then as we come back, we reversed that. So none of that happened quickly. And it's just a way for us to help the spine get a little more loose. So let's go ahead and go all the way to the mat. So we're going to just stand. Now forgive me, I feel like there's something wet on my mat. I don't know what happened there. All right, come on back up this way. We're going to breathe all the way up and all the way down. I'll take our foot back and then the other foot. And then from here, we'll push into a down dog. Maybe our down dog is a little more warm now. We can stretch the back some more, stretch the legs a bit more. We'll come into our plank. Let's go ahead and lower the body all the way down, slowly coming through chaturanga and finding the floor. From here, we're going to arch up into a little seal pose, dropping the hips. So really, we're just opening out the belly, letting the back have some arch. Let's roll the shoulders lift the chin. And then we're going to bring the head into line with the spine. So notice the difference. We have a lift through the throat, and then we keep the lift as we come into the head moving away from the body. So those were two different places for the neck. The one we're in now is the neutral space, and that's where we are most of the time. And then there are some times that we come into a lift like we did a camel and back down. From here, let's bring the knees toward the floor, the hips are rising, the belly's pulled in, and we'll come back to seated. So let me tell you what we did not do when we were in the neck position. We did not let our head sink downward and then come back. We lengthened the neck and arced it around instead of crunching those vertebrae in the neck down and together. We never want to do that. All right, moving on. So here we are seated. I'm going to see if I can find a way to show my hands in the video. Oh no, we'll see. Moving into our shoulder bridge. Come all the way down. We'll get into some more sun salutation in a little bit. But here we are all the way down. We're going to articulate and really peel the spine one vertebra at a time off the mat, and then find the resting work of the body into the shoulders. So the hands are flat. We're going to peel off all the way without using the glutes. Come into the shoulders. Maybe we walk the shoulders in a little bit. And we want to lift the hips as high as we can. And now we're going to bring that down. Now making two adjustments. We're going to bring our feet a little closer to the body. And we're going to let the hands come palms up so that we're not really using the hands quite so much. We're going to focus on trying to use the feet here. So we're going to push the belly button down, let the tailbone curl up first. Remember, we're using our feet and not our glutes. Rolling all the way up, walking the shoulders in. And then from here, we can clasp the fingers underneath and press the hands into the floor and lift up as high as we can. Releasing the hands, letting one vertebra at a time come back down, using the belly here to control the roll of the body. We're going to lift both feet into the air, give the ankles some relief, give some circles. We're going to lift the head and the shoulders, take a breath. On the exhale, we're going to come all the way up to seated. So now we're going to do something that's just absolutely for fun. We're going to do rolling like a ball. This is straight out of Pilates, so we're going to stay very rounded. We can hold on to the back of the legs. Our breath will take us back, and our exhale will bring us forward. So our head does not touch the floor at all. And when we come back up, if we want to try for a little more work, we cannot let our feet touch. So we're going to stay very rounded in the spine. We will not come into a straight back. We're going to breathe and roll. Exhale, find our way back into the balance. Breathe back. And exhale forward. Breathe back. Exhale forward. You can even try this holding on to the front of the legs. Breathing back and forward. Exhale into the pose. And that is just for fun. So that's our bonus for the day. It also feels really good. Now, if you need a pad, if you're on a hard floor and want to use something for your back, then you can. But I'm on very soft carpet, so it felt really good to me. Let's swing back around. We're going to come back into our all fours one more time. And a little bit more stretch of back. Let's extend one leg all the way out. And then we're going to take the opposite hand. We're going to come around, reach toward the foot in the back. We're going to gaze forward, somewhere out at the top of the mat. And then we're going to take our hand-foot connection up and up and up, but not our head. We did not reach our head up. Let's lower that knee. And then we'll reach back into a little child's pose, just a breath here. And we'll bring that back in. Opposite side, reaching out with the other leg and the other hand. We're going to bring that around, find our foot, fix our gaze, and take the hand-foot connection higher and higher and higher. The gaze is helping us with our balance. And then from here, we're going to bring it all the way back down. Find that child's pose once more. And bring it back in. Let's take ourselves back to our plank. We're going to try to hover at several positions here. So here we are in our full plank. We'll take a breath in and out. Let the hands be pretty close to one another so we can support ourselves. We're going to come almost to that halfway chaturanga place. Using our fingers into the floor, and then we're going to come a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, and all the way down. Wow, okay, lots of work this morning. Let's bring both feet up, and we're going to reach back and find our feet, and maybe we stay right here. We can also roll the shoulders and start to lift the heart and the back of the leg. And remember, the head is just neutral. We're just looking out and away, not up. Finding our bow pose. And then we'll bring that all the way back down. This time we're going to bring our knees a little closer together or all the way together. We'll take a breath and roll the shoulders. Exhale, push the belly down. Find our bow pose here. And lower down. We're going to push back into our child's pose, using our hands on the floor, lifting the belly first, bringing the whole spine up as we go back. Walking back into that child's pose. Ooh. Lovely, lovely. All right, we're going to work on that wild thing. Try to keep up with my time. All right, so we're going to go into this in a different way today. We're going to go from down dog, and we're going to lift. So you're going to need a little bit of space. You will come off your mat when you do this. We're going to lift one leg. Now that leg is going to be coming over to the back, so that's the space that you want to have clear. We're going to lift it up, and we're going to open up and stack. Let's bend the knee. And what we have here is a little bit of what we did in the first of the class, when we stacked our hips one on top of the other. Now this foot is going to reach toward the floor behind us. The foot that we're standing on is going to be mobile. We're going to let it twist wherever it needs to twist. And we're looking at the floor. The other hand is coming around, and we're going to reach up. Now we're going to come back. The foot that came over is going to come up, and we're going to step it back together. And we'll come into a rest. So that's a lot of work, and it does need a lot of space, but hopefully we did all right with that. We're going to go ahead and try the other side. So if you need to flip, then we can do that. And here we are in our down-facing dog. We're stable on balancing on one foot. The other one's coming up. We're going to stack. We'll hold it here when we find our hips being stacked. And we're looking for the place where that foot is going to go. We're going to lift our hips as we go. Reach out. Lift, lift, lift. Prepare to come back. Reaching the hand to the floor and the foot to the sky. And coming all the way in. So that's sort of like the next step for us in our wild thing pose that we've been working on. There's some more steps to that. It doesn't really get harder. It's going to get easier. But we have to learn to trust that our foot can hit the floor and that all these things can happen at the same time. So we'll keep working on those. That's a fun one. It's a lot of work for the back. Let's go into our rolling like a ball one more time. So here we are. Just let the back have a little bit of massage there. And then we're going to try one more time on each side for our wild thing pose. If you would like to think about reaching one leg away when we get there, we're going to talk about that. So we'll find our balance first. In our down facing dog, we're going to lift the leg, open the hip. Now we already know where the foot's going to go. We can already trust that. So whatever leg is up, that arm is going to get ready to reach back. Reach back there and lift the hips. We're coming back through, lifting up and through. So hopefully that felt even more stable this time. Come around the other way. Lifting into that down dog. Setting up that leg, opening the hips. We know where the foot's going to go. We can let that arm reach, lifting the hips, coming back through, lifting the leg, and bringing it through. Yay! We have new stuff. All right, heart rate's up, we're warm, we are working. Let's go ahead and move into our pigeon pose for some stretching. So back to plank. So we're going to bring our knee forward. We're going to do a little bit of a different plank, pigeon preparation today. We're going to move forward with our knee and then push it back. We'll breathe in here, exhale, push back, and breathe, push back. Now we're going to bring that knee outside and turn the foot under. Now drop back. And of course, we're only going as far as we can go. I'm still nursing my knee. I have no idea what's happening with that. So I'm using a block because I want to be wise with my body. Now, when we get ready to move into the full stretch, remember that we're not going down, but going forward. So think about lengthening the spine, lengthening the body. And then we'll just let the body sink. We'd like to be squared so that our heart and our hips, our tailbone, and our head are all in one line. And this bent knee is outside of that line. And the foot on that leg is on the other side of the line. Let's lift the foot that's in the back. We'll walk ourselves up and bring the hand around. We'll find that foot. Give it a nice stretch. Maybe we bring the hand to the inside for more stretch. And then we're going to set up the plank again. And we'll lift the other leg out. Bring it in. Exhale, take it back. Breathing in. And exhale back. And back this in. And exhale. And we bring that knee to the outside of the arm. Tuck the foot under. And we'll sink into the pigeon on this side. Let the hips really sink down. Find your most stable base, and then we'll start to walk it forward. And we'll stay here, breathing in and out. Never stop the breath. Now let's think about our lines again. We have our straight body line, our midline. The knee is on one side of that line, the foot's on the other. Now let's think about the line between the knee, the bent knee, and the toes. Let's make that straight. So we don't want our toes to pull forward. We want them to reach back to continue the straight line of the knee, ankle, and toes. We'll turn over the toes on the back leg, reach up with our foot, walk our body in, all the way around, find this stretch. What feels best on this side, because it might not be the same as the other side, and that's okay. Walk that back. As we find our plank, let's lift the foot that's on the floor, lift that leg, and bring it back. We'll come into our down dog, give a little more movement here. And then we'll come back to the floor as we did before. We'll come in stages. We'll hover in a small bend, hover in our chaturanga, hover a little lower and a little lower, and bring it all the way down. Let's take our hands back, clasp them here. We're going to roll the shoulders, reach up, bring it back. Take our face to the floor, rest the body. And we'll practice that again. We'll breathe up, exhale, press the belly down, stretch away. The other face comes down. We rest the body here. And again, each time, breathe in, exhale, move into the stretch. Lower the body, lower the face. Breathe and prepare. Exhale, move into the stretch. And lower the body on the other side. And then we'll come all the way up. Remember that we bring our belly up. We're not going to come up in this position, but we come up in a flat back, protecting that lower back. Then we'll come into seated. Awesome work. Awesome, awesome. We did some good stuff. Let's stretch the back a little bit. So we're just going to sit in our Sukhasana. One leg is in front of the other. And then we're going to walk our body forward. We want to lengthen. This is just like pigeon, but both feet are in front. So we're not rounding. We're reaching. The bottom ribs are trying to get out in front of the legs. We're going a little bit more and a little bit more. And we're just trying to really relax into the hips. Relax the shoulders so that we're not drawing them up. Let the knees fall toward the floor. Let's walk over toward one side and stretch away. We'll come back to the middle. And then we'll walk to the other side. So to the direction that we're reaching, the opposite hip is really pushing down into the floor. And we'll come back to center, walk that in. We're going to use our hands to help change the way that we're sitting. All the way up, nice and tall. And then we'll repeat. Notice that one side might go into a deeper stretch than the other side, and that's fine. And then we'll walk it over to the side, dropping that opposite hip. Bringing it back to the middle. Trying really hard to relax. Come into your other side. Try not to brace the legs or brace the hips. We're going to walk that back in, stretching as far as we can here, and we'll walk back to seated. Very, very nice. We'll bring our knees all the way in. We're going to get ready for Shavasana. So just finding whatever place feels comfortable. If we want to use a pillow behind our head, under our neck, under our knees, if we want to cover with a blanket. Whatever we would like to do is just right. And then we're going to let our body settle again. So we've worked ourselves up into a frenzy. We put in a little bit of exercise, a little bit of work today, even maybe a little cardio. Get our heart rate up with our wild thing pose. And so now we'll give ourselves a chance to bring it back down. And we're going to do that with our thoughts and our mind, the power of our mind. But first we're going to go through the body and just relax. So now that you've found a spot that's comfortable, we're going to start to breathe all the way in and all the way out. And we're going to focus on breathing. Our number one job right now is to breathe. The only thing in the entire universe that you are required to do right now is breathe. Your second job is to notice your breath. Breathe in acceptance, accepting yourself, being aware of the things that we can do. Being aware of the things that we cannot do today. Noticing the areas that need work. Noticing the areas that need attention. Noticing the areas that need affection. Maybe noticing where we need affirmation. And knowing that that is how we redirect any changes that we make in our body, in our habits, in our mind, in our thoughts. In the next few breaths, let's breathe in gratitude. And as we breathe in, let's begin to know that gratitude is the killer of envy. Breathe in and think that. Gratitude will end envy. Let's breathe that in one more time. And on this exhale, let's send out a thank you into the space around us, leading out into the world where we want to send gratitude to a person, gratitude to a group of people, gratitude for a thing, a place, an experience, a memory. Gratitude for the obvious, but also for the small things. Gratitude for toilet paper. Gratitude for technology. Gratitude for this time that we are here and can be present. And as we breathe in, let's commit to grant ourselves and others grace and mercy. And we'll start to relax the body. Knowing that the body has been in new ways stressed the last few weeks. We are learning how to deal with many, many changes that happened at one time. But let's also know, bring into our understanding that we are capable, that we've already been wired, built, and processed to handle every single change that's happening. And let's go back to our mantra that we will start where we are, use what we have, and do what we can. Continue to release and relax. As we come into more thoughts of gratitude, more feeling of relaxation, we're going to move back to just noticing our breath. And allow that relaxed feeling to move down the body. Lifting the eyebrows, feeling the crown and the brow relax and release. Maybe letting the head move side to side. Circling the eyes behind the lid. Opening the jaw and closing back together. Relaxing the throat and the shoulders and the heart. Melting the belly and the hips and the rear all the way into the mat. Just letting go. Checking our body for embracing. Breathe in that, let it out. Wiggle the toes and let your feet have a little movement. Maybe circle. Let's take our biggest breath of the day, going all the way in and all the way out. And then from here, we'll start to bring our knees into our chest, just finding our way back to Apanasana. Giving the knees a hug and a squeeze. Massaging the front of the leg. We're going to bring ourselves all the way over to our side. And just be in our baby pose. Let's notice how good we feel. And let's remember how we got here. And we know that we can get here again. If the body needs one more stretch, we'll grant that. And then we'll start to make our way to seated. Breathing all the way in and all the way out. Let's reach out. Reaching out takes a whole new meaning lately. Bring it all the way down. Peace to you for the rest of this day and moving into a new week. And namaste. Thank you for joining.